down to driver and engineer. What's the process there? Do you get, say, here, will Dan get a word from Christian Horner before he just links up with his engineer and then it's down to the two of them?
Well, Christian will talk to him a little bit before the race, before he gets in the car, and then he'll be over to his engineer there with Simon Rennie in Daniel's case. Procedure, there'll be definitely a practice start in place. There'll be a radio check going around the lap. He'll want to obviously save some fuel. So in terms of those sort of things, that's important that he gets around to the grid in good shape. And then he'll be out, final debrief on the car. And then the big cheeses will talk to him just when he gets strapped in. Good luck, mate. Give it your best. That's all he can say.
All right. Why don't you head out and see what you can get there? I know James Allen is on the line. I want to get your thoughts, James, because you did say to me the other day that one of the first things you do when you come to the track is look at the driver's eyes on a Thursday, and you can normally tell what kind of, mental preparation or mental zone that they're in. You've just had a chance to stare them in the eyes before they walk out onto the grid for that photo. What'd you see?
Well, I saw a very cool, steely look in Valtteri Bottas's eyes when I was just speaking to him then, so that's a good thing. He's obviously got to at least get himself into second place, having not got himself on the front row of the grid in qualifying, but here you are.
I wasn't too far away.
Talking to you. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right, and Vettel looks very calm to me, but I guarantee you when Mark and I go out on the grid in a short while and we're down there with the camera and we look at him, he will have a completely different expression on his face. He has a chance of winning a race today, and Vettel has a very hard race face. You do not go anywhere near him when he's got that face on, because he's completely miles away. He's completely in his own world and completely focused. At the moment, he's joshing. It was quite funny. We're standing underneath the podium here, and we just had the Porsche Super Cups, and they were spraying the champagne, and Vettel and Hulkenberg were doing an interview with German TV right underneath, and they got soaked with champagne before the Grand Prix has even started.
All right, let's check in with Mark Howard and Lewis Hamilton. Howie?
In Melbourne, Australia, Lewis Hamilton just doing a few last-minute text messages. 10 years since you debuted here in Melbourne. It's been an amazing 10 years.
G'day, everyone. It's great to be here. It's always such a great crowd, and the weather's turned out well for us, so I hope that we can give these guys the best race they've ever seen.
You've done so much practice, so much preparation getting to this point. You've been training hard in the off-season. I guess for you, you've been looking forward to this moment for quite some time.
I guess you don't ever wish time to fly by, but you're always excited to get into the race. This is what I live for, so I'm happy to be here. And as I said, the energy we get from this crowd is always incredible. So, thank you to everyone who's here.
Good luck, go well.
Thank you.
So we've spoken about, the top end of town and the steely gaze of those who are genuinely in this race. What about the eyes of, say, a Lance Stroll or, the focus of a Stoffel Van Dorn? They're about to join the big league here. They're ready to step up to the main game.
Yeah, two very different kind of stories there. Lance Stroll, of course, he's 18 years of age, and he needs to still get his temperament dialed into Formula One. He has got a heavy right foot, and we saw that when he crashed his car, and ultimately, he's paid a price for that, and he's not qualified as well as he would like. He's got a gearbox penalty as well, so he's starting at the back. But I think for his first Grand Prix at the age of 18, it's fine. He'll get the mileage under his belt, and that'll be all good. Van Dorn's a different matter. He's waited a long time for this opportunity. He drove the McLaren in Bahrain last year after Alonso had a huge crash here, you remember. And Van Dorn's angry. He's really, really angry that his car didn't work and Alonso's did. Alonso's up in, 12th on the grid now with Dan's penalty, and Van Dorn's starting towards the back. So he's really crossed. Two very different stories amongst those rookies.
In terms of strategies, we're going to talk about that in just a sec, because it looks as though it's going to be a one-stopper, but let's check in with how he's got Sebastian Vettel.
Sebastian Vettel, P2 on the grid today, getting into an absolutely beautiful vehicle. Sebastian, we appreciate your time. P2 today.
Beautiful driver, huh?
Yes, a beautiful looking driver. So much talk about the start of this race. You P2, Lewis P1. Do you think about it, or you just get out there and do it?
What do you mean, do you think about it?
The start. Do you spend much time thinking about it? Have you been mulling over it or not?
Yeah, we've prepared, obviously. So I ran through also this morning, but I think we are as prepared as we can be, so I'm looking forward to that. It will be obviously a new procedure this year, but overall I think looking forward to the race. It's a long race. It's a lot longer than just the first stretch to turn one, but should be a good race.
It's a great day. Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Sebastian Vettel starting second on the grid, and for his first drive in a Formula One race for Mercedes is Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri, best of luck today. How are you feeling in one of the fastest cars on the grid? I'm sure you've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Yeah, feeling good. Can't wait for the race start. It's going to be an interesting race with Ferrari. I think Start will be crucial, I think, today. Maybe with a good strategy, we can have really, really good race.
Go well, thank you.
Thank you.
Kimi Räikkönen looking cool, calm and relaxed as always. In fact, Kimi's off. So we might get to Sebastian Grosjean. He's done absolutely brilliantly. The best qualifying performance for Haas. You did so well here last year. How are you feeling about the race?
Well, feeling pretty good. Very happy to get the season started. Looks like Australia is bringing me luck, so hopefully today a good race for us.
Romain Grosjean, do you get nervous at this stage or not?
Good start too.
Best of luck in the race.
Thank you.
It's funny, isn't it, with all their experience, these guys, a guy like Romain Grosjean who finished in the points here last year, he made up 13 spots in the race, and the question about nerves is always sort of brushed off. There would have to be. They haven't raced for more than 100 days. So quickly on that strategy, last year it was a two-stopper that won it. This year, the different regulations, the different tyres, it looks as though they're only going to come through here at pit lane, James, once.
I think so. Bear in mind, last year's race was red flagged, so everybody had a chance to change tyres at the red flag, and Grosjean had not stopped at that point, which is why very, very bold strategy, and that's why he managed to pick up so many points. I think it's a one-stop race. I think they'll start on the ultra-soft tyres, come in around about lap 22 to 25, try and stretch that out if they can. There is a chance to jump the car in front if you pit the lap earlier and get onto the new tyre, the super soft tyre, so that we'll see a bit of tactics around that as well. But I think, as Bottas was just saying, it's the start that's really the crucial thing. If you lose the start in a big way, it's going to be quite tricky to recover, I think, even through the strategy. But it'll be an absolutely fascinating race, as it always is.
With the ultra soft tyre, what do you reckon the maximum you can get out of it? How many laps are we talking maximum? 58 lap race, so the magic number to get in is what, between 22 and 25?
I think we saw Hamilton do 26 laps on it on Friday, and when he was doing the simulations on Friday afternoon in the free practice too. What you're looking for is the performance starting to drop off. We'll be across that in commentary with Mark Webber. You will be keeping an eye on the look as though the tyres are just dropping off a cliff, and you need to get off them before that happens, because you suddenly lose performance. But behind the scenes here are some very, very clever people, the kind of people that normally work in like financial markets, trying to plot share prices and doing those kind of models. Some of them actually come from the financial world into Formula One and use those computer models to simulate races. It's game theory, it's Monaco theory, it's there's all kinds of amazing sort of code-breaking type mentalities going on behind the scenes here, all trying to come up with a magic strategy.
You also just mentioned there the start procedure, and we've touched on it throughout the day. And from the front row of the grid, Lewis Hamilton from pole position, who hasn't got some good starts, practice starts going here. He's been getting bogged down, and Mark Webber showed us how easy that is to do with the clutch system behind the steering wheel. Sebastian Vettel, always an aggressive starter and a good starter. Let's take those two guys out of the picture, and let's go back a couple of rows. Who is more or most likely to be the one who will sort of dart through the middle or dart around the outside?
Well, Kimi had a good start here last year as well, underlining Ferrari's potential in that area. Valtteri Bottas knows that it's his opportunity. Any of those guys there, Grosjean and the Haas, you know, he could get himself mixed up in it. He's right up the front of the grid. And you've got other people who are desperate to make up for lost places coming through. People like Carlos Sainz, for example, in the Toro Rosso. It could make a very aggressive start and get himself in the mix. So, I mean, we've got the order we've got on the grid. You never get the same top three at the end of the race as you have on the grid here in Australia, so I don't expect that'll change today.
Drivers are having their photo taken, the official start to a brand new season, which means we are not far away from race start here at the 2017 Formula One Rolex Australian Grand Prix. Stay with us for race day.